Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of our series on classroom management. I'm your host, Tina. Sada and I are going to share with you some of our favorite and effective attention grabbers. Make sure to watch the first part of the series where we talked about fun warmers and games that you can use to pump up the fun in your lessons. And be sure to subscribe to my channel to get notified of new episodes on Tina Talks. Now, let's continue our discussion. Attention grabbers, because when we say classroom management, of course, we're talking about different tactics that teachers use to move on from one stage of their learning, of their activity, to another. And sometimes when we move from one very high energy activity to something that would need like a lot of focus, a lot of quiet time for the students to be able to finish their worksheets, for example, what kind of attention grabber do you use to gain the attention back of your kindy class first? For example, if they're making a little bit of a turning an activity into something that is crazy, how do you gain their attention again?
Many ways. Sometimes even with the same class, I change my attention getter like every month, once a month, because once they get used to it, sometimes they might ignore you. Sometimes I create suddenly something new and, oh, okay, actually I managed to take their attention, and then I use it a couple of weeks. Most of the time, you know, the most common one, I count backwards like 4, 3, 2, 1. As soon as they hear that I'm counting backwards, you know, from 4, 3, I already see them, whatever they are doing, they just stop and they go back to their seats, which still works with every kindy class. Sometimes I just clap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, attention, and then it works with even with my primary classes. I've used a lot this hands on top, everybody stop. It really worked because they also like the activity.
Hands on top, everybody stop.
Whatever they do, they stop suddenly and they do the same. You know, they don't just listen to me and go back to their seats. They also do the action. As soon as I say, all right, hands on top, everybody does that. All right, everybody stop. And then they stop. And then, all right, now sit down, or everybody look. I can continue, you know, with the next activity, or even with the same activity if they were all distracted. Sometimes I use mac and cheese, everybody freeze. And as soon as they hear, you know, everybody freeze, they're like, oh. Sometimes they even like it because they do weird actions. Oh, Miss Sarah, I cannot stand. Oh.
Mac and cheese. Everybody freeze.
You know, whatever they are doing, they freeze and then they laugh at each other. And even I do it myself. Mac and cheese, everybody freeze. Oh. And then they really enjoy that.
I like using Chant. I use something similar. I do eyes on me, and then I will do eyes on me, and then the kids will be eyes on me.
Eyes on me. Eyes on you.
I also use, and this is something that I got as well from another teacher, hocus pocus. The kids will say, time to focus.
Oh, yeah, I like
hocus pocus. Time to focus.
My favorite lately, whether I'm teaching kindy or primary, is that I just do the clapping, because sometimes my attention grabbers, they're all require like my voice, shouting on top of like a very noisy group of kids. So what I do is I use my hands and I do this clap. And then when the kids hear that, they're going to stop whatever they're doing, and then they will also respond to me using the same pattern.
Ah, that's nice.
That way I'm not using my voice, because I realize, these are really
you don't have to yell. Yeah, that sounds great.
And you know, lately, because I realized that the kids respond to this attention getter really well, that I have started using sticks that I hit. They can be blocks. You just do that same beat. And then you would see, it's so funny because the kids also do that sometimes when they have like a group of students in one corner making too much noise. A kid will be doing that, and then they will be responding like that way too. It's so nice to see how the kids feel using the effective classroom management techniques in class, even when you're not around. Do you use attention grabbers for secondary?
They like something triangle or some noisemakers. Because of my secondary class, I can say I became a collector of noisemakers because I realized it helps. It doesn't mean that they care because sometimes they keep ignoring you. With secondary, those attention getters are very important because they have cell phones, they have friends, they have their teenaging thing, they have their mood. It's really hard. I have to get their attention also in many different ways because, as I told you, I'm pretty sure you experience the same thing. After a few weeks, they ignore you because they already get used to it. And I have this feeling like I just need to find another one because they really get bored. Sometimes I clap twice, like the way you do, and then they clap twice. It works. And then I have a funny little chicken in my class. When you squeeze, it says, and they like, so as soon as I use that little chicken, noisemaker, it kind of stops them because at least whatever they do, as soon as they hear that noise, they just stop and they look at me, which really works very well. Teaching is really like a craft with secondary. I believe that they don't like, not just secondary, of course, kindy and primary is the same, but for teenagers, it's more obvious. They don't like annoying attention grabbers. It should be something fun because they are moody and they really ignore you. You need to create always something new just to take their attention. It's really challenging. Evet, eğer siz de Vietnam'da öğretmenlik yapmayı düşünüyorsanız, Vietnam ya da Asya tarafında öğretmenlikle ilgili bilgi almak istiyorsanız, öğretmen Tina'nın YouTube kanalını mutlaka takip edin diyorum. Hoşçakalın.
Thanks so much, Seda. We have one more coming up for you. Next, we're going to talk about what you should do if a student becomes violent or aggressive. Stay tuned for that. Until next time, thanks for watching.